your weapon, you big, strong Vikinger. Today we raid.
Oh, yes, yes! Let us go, Viking!
Yes! Burn down our house! Burn it to the ground!
What did it? I am as hard as Heimdall's tower!
Then ram me like the Valgrin's gates and enter Valhalla!
Greetings, lords and ladies, I am the Mighty Gammon and you are watching my expert commentary on my Valhalla experience. Let's begin. I kicked off this session by confronting Gorm, who had retreated to the safety of King Harold's village. I was unable to kill him, but what I was able to do was share my total displeasure at the fact he had stolen my sweet roll during the siege of his father's fortress. This slight on my person was far worse than me mercilessly cutting his only family member down in front of him, so he should have been ashamed. Gorm was lucky that only moments earlier I had shot up enough ketamine to kill a Brachiosaurus, otherwise I would have had sufficient energy to put him through the window of his mud hut. The bastard repaid my kindness by accusing me of poisoning his father. I did not carry out this dishonourable act, all I did was hack him to death in the face with an axe. For this slander, I allowed Harold to banish the cretin. He should be dead, but I'm far too diplomatic. Curse my good nature and good looks. On the way to visit Sigurd, the man I had beaten at flighting earlier phased through the longhouse door. Clearly his defeat was so complete that he perished and became a ghost. A plan was being set in motion for moving the Raven clan to England to escape King Harold's new kingdom. I thought a good parting gift to my adopted father, who had shown me nothing but kindness, was to steal his money. Why would he even need it, hey? I had my eyes on those lovely new fur boots from ASOS that no one in the family got me at Christmas, so it was only right that I used his money to treat myself. The man reacted badly to my theft, which indicates that he is the one in the wrong. How rude. The big blue ocean lay ahead of us, with England at its end. After almost 12 hours of playing, I had left the shores of Norway and... wait, that was the prologue. What kind of prologue takes 12 hours? Before I could witness the open ocean, I was pulled from the Animus into the real world. This was an attack on gamers who want the real world to stay outside of their games. My character, Layla, began by giving a very seductive look to the ancient Isu staff she had collected from the protagonist of the previous game. This was an attack on gamers who will never experience a woman looking at them in this way. It turns out we were at the gravesite of Ivor in North America for some reason, in an effort to discover how to stop an impending doom caused by Earth's magnetic poles going mental. I am unsure how Vikings would have held the answer to these issues, but who am I to question Ubisoft, the greatest game developers to ever exist? I will accept a free subscription of Ubisoft Plus for this endorsement to my massive audience of 100 fans. Thank you, Ubisoft. This place was making me anxious. The impending sense of doom was just too much. So I went to look in my van for answers, and oh look, a cryptic message was written on the side of the van. That's so strange and unexpected. A satellite was seen burning through the atmosphere due to the apocalypse, and if that wasn't bad enough, I had forgotten to pack any Yorkshire tea before we came out to this cabin. I can't decide which was worse, but my evening was certainly ruined either way. Back in Ivor's shoes, we had arrived in England. The rural landscape was beautifully rendered, so much so that I could feel the absolute disgust of the English countrymen witnessing our longship sailing downstream. If there's one thing us Vikings would not tolerate, it's racists. I would teach them our peaceful ways through force. Using the tried and tested tactic of whistling from the bushes, I dispatched the Saxon soldiers guarding the river blockade which stood in the way of my ship and home sweet home. Or new sweet home. Home new sweet home, Alabama. The massive metal blockade chain was held together by very easily broken wooden cogs. Thank Odin the Vikings had come to teach these Saxons how to build things and be civilized and give us their oil, grain. Sigurd broke down and went weird before we met some nice Saxons that were looking after the campsite for us. This was so thoughtful. Alexa, play Despacito. Oh my god, this is so sad. Alexa, play Despacito. With the Saxons defeated, we discovered prisoners in the Longhouse. Not only was this discovery good for the prisoners, but also for Ivor's education, because he had just realised that Sigurd wasn't talking complete gibberish about his travels. Asia really does exist. Wow, Ranvi was absolutely enthralled by her new map. I tried to tell her that it was a map of England, not Norway, but she refused to accept this, and now I'm on the sofa eating cat food out of a barrel because I offended this flat earther sociopath. If an option comes up to friend zone the bitch, I will be taking it. Making friends and allies was emphasized a lot on the war table, so my first port of call was to raid the nearby monastery. I feel slaughtering the occupants of a native holy site is not only stunning, but also brave. They were endeared to our cause so strongly that they ran off screaming in joy towards our camp to join the clan. All I wanted to do was quietly pray to their god for a good harvest this season, but found myself accidentally chopping off people's limbs instead. Life can be so weird sometimes. We escaped to the longship with resources for a camp expansion. The crew were unharmed. Perhaps these Saxons were toothless and weak. They couldn't hurt a fly. What? The loot pillaged from the monastery's coffers was used to build a wooden hut with a forge next to it in the village. No, I don't quite understand why we needed to pillage a holy site for this either. There are hundreds of trees literally next to the village. We are surrounded, in fact, by trees and rocks. These couple of chests in the church had mostly gold and jewels in them. Where is the gold? Why am I playing this game? The game let me customize a Jomsviking, which is a Viking lieutenant of sorts. And by customize, I mean flick through randomly generated freaks until I found my 6-foot-tall Amazonian waifu, who I equipped with dual flails because I'm a sadist. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next adventure.